voted to implement new net neutrality rules that will make sure internet service providers treat all legal content equally.
Yeah, the proposal reclassifies internet service providers, or ISPs, like Comcast, Charter, AT&T, as public utilities. Under new regulations, they will be prohibited from slowing down internet speeds to certain content. It's a practice called paid prioritization. Large ISPs, internet service providers, wanted to be able to slow down transmission of certain services like video, like Netflix. You know, what's on Netflix, I should say. They wanted to charge customers more for content for them to speed it up. This is so confusing. Can we just get out of this and talk to Dan about it?
Yes. Dan Thompson, our tech expert, joins us this morning. Dan, break this down. Tell us what this means in layman's terms. This is a lot of acronyms and such.
Yeah, so basically, you know, if we boil this down, what net neutrality means is that the internet should remain free and open, meaning that internet service providers, so the people that you pay for internet, Comcast, Charter, Verizon, all the usual suspects, they should be gateways to the internet and not gatekeepers of the internet, meaning they shouldn't be able to pass rules that slow things down, speed things up. That should be up to the FCC. So boiling it all down, that's kind of what it all comes down to.
So did these internet service providers want to charge people more for faster service? Was that the main thing here?
Well, and in fact, they are charging. So companies like Netflix, rumored to be Google with YouTube, they have enacted fees for those companies. Those have been undisclosed. However, most analysts agree that it's probably in the tens of millions of dollars that these companies are paying. And Charter, you know, admittedly has done some pretty sneaky things, wherein they actually slowed down Netflix's service for about a week, essentially twisting the arm of Netflix, saying, okay, this is how it's going to be if you don't pay us millions of dollars. And so Netflix was like, I mean, we have to service our customers, so we have no choice.
Right.
And so that's kind of where a lot of this debate is actually coming from.
Overall, is this good news for consumers, for people who want to watch House of Cards this weekend? Is this good news?
Because that is what we plan to do all weekend.
I'm not naming any names, Dan.
Right. So, and this is where the heavy debate comes in. So changing it from a Title II, or changing it from not a Title II to a Title II, basically puts it under a law that was created in the 30s. So you'll hear lots of debate about, well, this is an old antiquated thing. What it allowed the FCC to do, though, is actually make this rule. The people who are arguing that this is from the 30s, like Verizon, are hoping that you have forgotten that the FCC tried to do this sort of the nice way, so to speak, in 2010. Verizon sued and won, and the court said, hey, FCC, you don't have authority over broadband because it's nowhere in any of your documents. Basically, you need to make this a Title II before you can do that.
Because it didn't used to even exist?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, there was nothing to account for it. That's exactly right. And so what the FCC now has done is said, okay, great, we'll make it a Title II. Now I do have jurisdiction. So there's been a lot, and you know how it is. Anytime that something gets really heavily involved in the political sphere, there's ribbons of truth through almost everything everybody's saying, and the truth, the whole truth, is probably somewhere in the middle. And so you hear lots of questions. So like you'll hear people say, this is bad for big business? Well, if by big business you mean Charter, Verizon, Comcast, yes, it probably is bad for their business on some level because they're losing millions of dollars from Netflix.
So maybe they're just going to put taxes on us now. Is that going to be passed over to us?
Well, and then that's the other question now is about taxes, because under Title II, the government can now tax the internet, whereas they couldn't before. However, if you listen to Chairman Wheeler, what he is saying is that this is as much a plot to restrict the internet as the First Amendment was a plot to restrict free speech, meaning that this is not a plot to restrict. And his heart, it seems, is not to tax or anything like that. However, he has definitely paved the way for future chairmen to do such things. So where this will go in the long run, it's a bit hard to tell at this point. It does, on the surface, though, seem like a good thing, and sort of putting ISPs in their place and saying, hey, let's keep things fair. That seems to be what the heart behind this is.
And we are on board for that.
Yes.
One thing I
want to watch House of Cards.
Is you're going to be coming back to talk more about this, I'm sure. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll be back after this.